Of Sasquatch Experience do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the hosts, sponsors, or affiliates of the Sasquatch Experience. As always, listener discretion is advised.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Does a legend walk among us, lurking in the forests of our world?
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my sensor light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something that looks like a man. I don't know what it was.
For over 15 years, we've talked with scientists, researchers, investigators, and witnesses, trying to gain insight and proof around the existence of this mysterious entity.
Jesus Christ, you better...
Sir?
Gia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Join us as we continue into the investigation of the Sasquatch Experience. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sasquatch Experience for Monday, April 28th, 2025. I'm Sean the Fort Chop Forker, a voice you all haven't heard in a while, joined by Vance Nesbitt, James Baker, Henry May. Matt Arnold will be joining us just a little later. And first, I want to take a moment and thank you, folks, for sticking with us through the thick and thin, as we've all gone through some either personal or physical challenges and some family issues, so that we could come back and be with you here again this Monday night. Thank you to my co-hosts who have been very supportive to me offline. Of course, Brian Corbin, our producer, Scott Detrelli, and Jay Charlotte, among the other listeners that we have. Thank you all for caring and let us know that we're an important part of your Mondays, and we appreciate it. And guys, on that note, it's great to be back with you here tonight. I'm still not 100% yet, but we got OBC coming up this weekend. It's a big event, and what's very special is that we're all going to be there in attendance.
Woo!
Folks will get an actual chance to see Henry May in person, live, and in living color.
The entire,
Henry, what are you looking
Brian
forward to
just
the
said,
most?
welcome back, gentlemen. Thank you, Brian. Welcome back to you. Forward to with these conferences is the interaction with folks, the exchanging of ideas, not necessarily the speakers. This.
We lost Henry again. No, hold on, Henry, hold on. Go ahead. Henry? I swear to
It's
God.
like I said with folks.
I swear to God, I'm going to find some sort of internet thing to keep the hell out of it every freaking week.
Yeah,
You are unmuted. We can hear you now, Henry. It's just some damn thing. Who knows? The more I spend, the less we sound better. So let's keep going. Baker, how about you? What you looking forward to this conference?
Anyway, like I said, I'm looking forward to the interaction. Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right.
Okay, Henry. That's one of the things I'm actually looking forward is interacting with Henry without the glitch. I'll tell you what, we take a lot of pot shots sometimes at Henry because the internet doesn't work so well. But I'll tell you what, in person, he knows so much stuff. And if you're at OBC, stop by and ask him a random question. If you bring him treats, he's better at it. But I'll tell you, he'll answer anything you got. He's not like a little, like one of those little wind up.
Yeah, well,
cat. You can't just give him marshmallows and he'll answer you. But like he is, I jest with Henry all the time, but like I enjoy when we go to some of these places and we all get together, because you think we feed off each other when there's a filter. You should see it live. It's amazing.
I'm looking forward to the fact of having Henry there without a cardboard cutout of Henry sitting in the chair next to us. It's the real thing. How cool is that?
Can we be very clear that this is the first time everybody's been together?
Yeah.
One place. We've had Matt.
Right.
We've had. Have you and Matt been together at an event, Vance?
I have not. No.
Wow. So this.
Yeah.
This
will be a first.
Right.
This will be a first.
And I'm
I'll
looking
be honestly, everything is done at all it can to conspire for it not to happen.
Right.
Between people getting sick and this, that, and the other thing. It's just
Yeah.
5 of us.
Yes, Henry. Good talk. I also like to thank all the people at OBC that make it.
I was
fun,
just going to
like
say, all
Kings and the
5 of us are going to be.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Henry.
I was just going to say, all 5 of us are going to be there. That's what I said.
But
No.
I was just waiting to see if he'd come back. Go ahead, Baker.
and I love to see all the people with their stands and things like that, and some of the people. I don't know if Beth will be there or not. I wasn't sure. I know that Jeffrey Thomas will be there.
Right.
Seeing him. Is Meldrum planning on OBC?
Yes.
Yep. He'll be there. He's speaking this year.
Cliff Barrickman usually
Yep.
is there.
Yep.
Speakers are well worth it. I'll tell you what. Like, I learn something new every year. Now, a lot of times I might learn that in the bar later, but I still learn a lot every year.
Well, it's one of the things that makes OBC unique. Probably, still, in my estimation, the Bigfoot event to be at of the year. And I'm biased because I've gone to so many of them. Henry, you've gone to so many of them. This is not Henry and I's first conference together. We've been together at many of these, but I'll tell you what's special about this is Henry and I are coming up on 20 years of our partnership.
Wow.
For Sasquatch Experience. 20 years.
You
Henry,
old man,
did you get
you.
a ring?
And
Did you get a ring, Henry? I didn't get a ring.
And I think it's a testament to, staying power that, seriously, I go and, I've busted Henry's bullocks over the years, but there really is a specialness that Henry brings and a passion to Bigfootery that a lot of folks lack. And I'm glad that he's on our side and going to be with us this weekend. We're going to have a lot of fun. Try to get some videos for our Patreons done. Going to get some Sasquatch Experience breakfasts in. Going to have a good time. I'm looking forward to being with our friends, Jamie and Jenny King.
Yep.
And you know what, folks, if you see our friends, the Far Giorgios there, go down and buy every single piece of their shit.
Yeah.
They need our support. They've gone through a lot this year. They've lost the Pug Army. I don't want to go into, sad details, and I mainly because they're good listeners of the show, and I don't want to hurt them anymore through all the pain they've gone through. But they could really use our support. And of course, Eric is going through some physical encumbrances himself.
Right.
And as somebody who's recently started to go through some, I can tell you, folks, it's no fun. And we need to support our friends whenever we can. Sasquatch Experience has always been about supporting our friends. And so get down and get the art of Erie Eric, the Fink art, and, just help out our friends. Let's get them some love. Mainstays at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference for years. They weren't at last year's OBC, I think. And this year, we want to make sure that we're supporting them so they can continue to be mainstays at OBCs for years to come. And
Right.
Plus, their stuff is good.
it is. I'm going to bring my G.I. Joe Bigfoot shirt to wear to support, drum up some support. and get some of those sales drummed up for our good friends there, the Far Giorgios. Erie Eric, the art of Erie Eric Fink art. We'll get all the links and we'll put them on the website. So that's another point of interest that I want to bring up real quick. You will notice our website going up and down more than an 80-year-old man on Viagra, because we have had in the process of changing domains and changing hosts and trying to get the website up and running. We just did it with the email. So we're just now catching up on email. It's been a process. So bear with us, folks. Honestly, I have to tell you, I'm just going to vent here for a minute. I really thought this was going to be the year I throw in the towel. We've spent so much money trying to get a better sound going from host to host, better editing software, utilizing AI editing, me going back to editing. The fact I work a very demanding job, I have a wife and kids myself. This is all done on my time. Vance, you do the news, you send it, and then half the time we have to change the show. So you put all that work in, and then we have to trash it. Like, I don't want folks to think that we don't appreciate them, and we have.
No, we do greatly appreciate them.
We do, but with the grace you've given us, we do appreciate it, and especially our Patreons who have supported us for as little as $2 a month, who've stuck with us, even though the content hasn't been as robust as promised. It's coming. And I know you hear that and you're like, oh, here we go. It's coming. The content is coming. We're going to get together at OBC this weekend. We're going to have a great time. And some of the things you guys are going to get, you'll only get maybe this one time, because who knows the next time the five of us will be together in one place. So if you're a fan, you're a listener. We don't like to say the term fans, because we're just everyday Joes that have a Bigfoot podcast. We have one fan, our number one super fan, JR Core. That's it. Everybody else we're glad you listen, and we're glad you come along with us on this journey every week. But you're our friends and you're our family, and we appreciate you. But we don't ever like to use the term fans. I think it's a little, I don't know. We're nobodies.
All right. Well, we don't have that ego. No. How about that? We don't have the ego.
No, which is funny when you've looked at some of the latest comments we've got on Apple. Just another group of guys that think they're experts. No, that's a sorely mistaken. If you're listening to that,
are they paying attention?
You're not paying attention, right? We are far from experts, and I think we make that clear every show. And I think the closest one we could have to an expert in this room is Henry. And
I'm waving only to say hi to Jenny. That's all.
We love Jenny. We love Jenny. We love Scott. We love Jamie. We and Steve. We love our listeners. We do, guys. Once you become part of us, you become part of a community. So when you see us at conferences, you throw up. You throw up on us. Please don't do that. You roll up. You give us hugs.
I'm not into that.
We're a very easy group to approach. So come see us. Come see us and hang out.
Yep.
Henry might be into it, but we're not.
No, go.
Cambridge, Ohio. Come on out.
Yeah, please do. I'm telling you guys, the speaker lineup for this event, we have Renee Holland, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Cliff Barrickman, Shelley Covington, Montana. That's going to be a real treat. I don't know if there's anybody out there that can say they put more time in than Shelley Covington, Montana.
Yeah, she certainly does. Well. Yep.
And I'm just looking forward to reconnecting, giving her a Fort Chop hug this weekend, because I haven't seen her since the last time she and Monica were at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. So that's been some time.
I will tell you one thing about her is that you can ask the silliest question to her, and she will give you 100% of her attention. It doesn't matter the question that you ask. She gives you 100% of her attention, and she will embrace it. And that's one thing that's really cool about her.
Right. She is very approachable. Again, another one. Very approachable.
Yep.
Dr. Esteban Sarmiento, my old drinking buddy. He
Sarmiento
is the master of ceremonies for this year's event.
Yep.
And, of course, rounding out the speakers, our good man, Seth Breedlove. Be a little small town monster Sasquatch experience reunion this weekend as well. Nice. It's really going to be one hell of a good time. I'm so looking
I think so. I think so.
I think Heather's going to be there. Heather Moser.
Moser, right?
Courtney's going to be there. So I think it's going to be a great time to connect with our Small Town Monsters friends as well. So you couldn't ask for a better event. And you know what, guys? I think there were a few VIP tickets left. Of course, we won't be able to join the speakers because we'll be up promoting ourselves. We very rarely get to enjoy the speakers. But I tell you what, don't sleep on it. If you get a chance to pick up a couple tickets, get them. $20 per person for kids 12 and under. It's $10 on Sunday, May 4th from 11:30 to 2. You get a town hall meeting, which is pretty spectacular. Conference is on Saturday the 3rd, town hall on the 4th.
Yep.
And it's well worth the travels there. And like, I will mention again in the. Go ahead, Henry.
Here's.
Go ahead, Henry.
I was just going to say, I'm going to be enjoying the speakers myself.
Yeah, well, we rely on you to report back.
Right? Yeah.
Like if anyone seems to ever pay attention to the speakers that doesn't have a chronic case of ADD, it's Henry May. He can pay attention and get us the deets so we can know who to book on the show next.
Exactly.
I'm going to try to send this link to Matt here, guys. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. Vance, carry on here for a second while I try to do this, would you?
Well, I was just going to say, Cambridge, Ohio, once you get into Salt Fork State Park Lodge, and I'll mention this again in the news segment, it's a really scenic drive to get in there, but that's all you have to do. Put it in your GPS, and you'll be able to get in there, and you're going to see so many people like-minded. It is such a great event. Mark DeWorth, who puts this whole thing together, he's so welcoming to everybody that comes out, and even enthusiasts that may not be all into the community and are just curious. They're wrapped into a whole community of people that are willing to welcome them in, like Henry Wood and myself and James. There's so many people that are going to be there that will welcome you in and will offer whatever we have to get you more interested in the case of what it is that we are doing. And that's the coolest thing about it. I've seen some people there last year that were a little skeptical, but by the time they left there, they were like, wow, they were so enthusiastic about the whole subject. And I think that's what makes it really spectacular event. I think this is probably one of the best conferences that does take place throughout the year. I really do think that this is the pinnacle of the conferences that take place, and I'm grateful for the fact that Henry's going to be there, and Matt's going to be there, and the whole Sasquatch experience is going to be there, and Seth Breedlove and Renee Holland.
Snuffy. Chainsaw Carver.
Snuffy, yes. He's going to have all his stuff brought out there, too. How about it?
Bring a big truck.
Yep, big a trailer with you, or, a big truck, because that boy, I'm telling you, some of his carvings
are huge.
I want to take some of them back here with me. I just don't know how to get them back here. I really don't, but boy, some of the stuff that guy creates, it's spectacular.
Borrow your work van.
They are.
Borrow your work truck vans.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, look who joined us. Matt.
I'm here.
I don't recognize you without your headphones on, so I didn't know who you were.
I know. So yeah, I'm here in South Jersey for something for my other job. So I just literally checked into the hotel, and rather than get my computer set up, I figured, well, I'll do it right on my iPhone, and here I am.
Wow.
Well, we're glad you.
Yeah, because I didn't recognize you without big puffy things in your ears. So I was like, "Who's that guy?"
If you need them, but...
Oh, that's awesome.
Matt, how are you doing, my friend? We all just caught up and kind of getting everybody a preview of OBC this year. Everybody's so excited.
Yes. So am I. So we're going to be heading out Friday, checking in. We'll be at the lodge. Yeah, I'm super excited. And it's going to be nice to, I hate to say it, to get out of Pennsylvania for a little bit. So we've had some real nasty wildfires out here.
So
we
I
just had
heard.
one. Yeah, we had one in Jim Thorpe that it pretty much it didn't hurt any homes, which was the good thing. And
Right.
the wildlife habitat where it actually occurred is more for reptile, small mammal. Then you're not going to find any bear, deer, turkey, anything like that in that area. So we had that going on. I've been so it's funny. I have a game camera set up behind my house, and I have a groundhog that is. I mean, he's on for about 40 or 50 pictures a day. So I'm putting
Oh my
together a
goodness.
little video of him. I have that, and then at night we have a fox that comes around. But we have my wife calls it the zoo. You know, we have. The fox is always there. The groundhog's always there. But then we also have the raccoons. We have the deer. We have the skunk. We have rabbits. We have squirrels. Everything except for Bigfoot. But we're having fun just watching it.
But you don't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. I
You
did
don't
get one
know
or two
that.
weird
Right?
kind of photos that I have no idea what they are, but I'm not putting it as crypto right now. I'm thinking it might just be something with causing basically like a lens flare from the flash. And then the other reason why I would get out of Pennsylvania too is it is currently tick season. So
Right.
I pulled 3 off of me today with being treated with our favorite almost near sponsor Sawyer's permethrin. But I do think though that what I ended up getting, they were all like in my arms and stuff. So I think they probably got there from me just walking around. I didn't find any basically like in the pants or the legs, but maybe while I'm walking through the brush,
Right.
I'm picking them up.
Right.
So hopefully we don't see that in Ohio.
I hope not, because I'll
Hope
tell you what,
not.
guys, my whole life has been changed thanks to ticks.
Yes.
So
I ended up sending a text to Eric Altman to give him a big kudo. This was probably 2 weeks ago, just to say thank you to him once again that those cast prints that he had, and he brought to the Sasquatch Experience table first before he brought them to Barrickman or to Jeff Meldrum. He brought him to us first to show him off because he was so excited and I was so taken back. And I just wanted to thank him for doing that. And he did say, that he wants to visit the vendor tables again this year and he will come and say hello. So that kind of made my day.
well, I'll tell you what, those are still one of the exciting parts about OBC last year, and still, in my opinion, some of the best footprints that have come out of Pennsylvania
Right?
in some time.
How about it?
I mean,
Yep.
actually, I don't even say sometime. I really want to say ever. I mean, Matt and I had that great footprint up north. Well, it was a good footprint. We don't want to call it
Yeah.
great, but it was interesting. And unfortunately, our LiDAR scan of it didn't come out fantastic. But what Eric and them got down there in that part of Pennsylvania was just magnificent. And I know it had its detractors, but and I'm okay with detractors. I really am. I think there's
Yeah, but Meldrum certainly had his head scratch moment going, wow, those are really interesting cast prints that he's got.
right. Well,
Okay. We'll
depth
take
on
it for
them-
that.
The depth on them were remarkable, which kind of indicated something had to put some weight
Yep.
in that mud. And again, it's no different than where Matt and I found that print. It's kind of in a section where those hunters found those prints that Eric and them found, kind of in a muddy
Yeah.
run that something
Right.
had to walk through. And You have to think about that. We spend so much time out in the woods trying to find evidence of this creature. We spend so much time on equipment, so much money on equipment, so much time. And the thing that pisses me off is half the time it's just something simple of nature's design that captures the best evidence.
Yep.
Right.
And
No, that's true.
I think there's something to be said about that. Maybe we start abandoning some of the technology and start getting back to our senses and allowing the natural environment to really run its course and work with nature as opposed to against it.
Yeah.
That's not any woo bullshit. I just say that as somebody who's, trying to be a little bit more.
Agreed. Right.
I don't want to say pragmatic. I mean, a little bit more.
No, I totally agree. I was just taken back at the fact that I just wanted to give him some kudos and thanks that when he got those prints, who were the first people that he brought those prints to? It was to Sean and myself and to James. Are you kidding me? And we got to see him firsthand before he brought them to Barrickman and before he brought them to Meldrum.
I mean, I don't want
to show them. I was like, wow, man, that was a privilege. I really appreciated that greatly. So that's why I texted him a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to come and visit us again this year at OBC.
I mean, I think the one thing you have to understand is Eric and I go way back. And
I understand that.
I think if there's somebody he considers to have a student mentor-mentee relationship, it's been Eric and I. And
right.
A lot of respect we have for one another, even when we don't always agree on things. And sometimes we don't. And sometimes there's a little time where we need to take a break, but there's always a respect between us. And if more people researched like him, I think we would have better results. And, folks out there can say what they want about anybody personally, but when it comes down to his research, there's a very few that have spent less time out there that have spent more time out there than Eric. I say that with 100% certainty. And it might upset some people, but that is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm not here to be the leader of anybody's fan club or or whatnot. I treat people how they treat me.
No.
And for the most part over the years, he's been very good to me. And you know what? Sometimes I've been a right rotten asshole to others too. And I try not to be, but sometimes people deserve it. There are a lot of charlatans out there. I'm still going to say it. Beware, folks. This weekend is going to be a breeding ground for nut jobs and crazy. Have I taken a position? I really have gotten a lot more defensive. I start hitting the reject button a lot more on social media than as soon as I start getting pictures of things. If you send me a fucking picture with something circled, I'm going to delete you. I don't care.
Then he's going to tell me where you live.
If you have to tell me where it's at, it's not in the picture. That's all.
Yep, I agree.
And if I ask you where it's at now, and I seem to be convinced, that's a different story. But it's just like has anybody ever done ghost hunting with EVPs?
Yeah.
And the one thing I hate is what someone tells you something's going to say before you listen to it.
Yeah,
this is what you're going to hear. Well, thank you for now putting that.
Don't plant that seed.
That's exactly what I'm going to hear. Right. And that power of suggestion is so strong, and I don't want it. I don't want any of that bullshit. I want to bring Bigfoot back for everybody with a common sense and a functional brain. We need to have rules again for people that want to be in this field, and one of it is common sense. You don't have to be a genius, but you should have a little reasonable intelligence, and just not fall for every bullshit on
I agree.
Thinker. Now listen, I'm sure I'm going to get spanked a little bit because here's Forker on his soapbox, and I need it because I'm only 5'5". But the last couple years, I've entertained folks on the woo spectrum, and that's okay because I'll tell you what, there are some people out there that believe. I don't even want to call it woo. They just believe in an alternative methodology that I do that have some really great results and are very good people. And then there are people out there that are just batshit crazy. You are not a 25,000-year-old alien from Zeta Reticuli that has a Bigfoot errand boy that, only you can talk to and only you can photograph and only you can see in photographs. It just doesn't happen. And those are the people we need to protect the field from. We should all join together with pitchforks and ran them the hell out of here. And just like folks that just want to make a buck out of this, you know, if you want to make a buck, be creative. And I'm not talking about clip art. Go out and be creative. Do something creative, but stay the hell away from the research, because some of us spend a lot of time on it. Kind of feel like a fraud saying that this year because I've been a little out of the field. But I'll tell you what, I've paid attention, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing, guys. A lot of idiots running around again.
Yeah,
a lot of idiots.
I agree.
When it comes to making money, though, there's a whole group that I give so much respect for, and that is the artists. Whether whether it's our buddy doing the wood carvings, Eric and Carrie doing the doing the drawings. There's a lot of great, talented people in our thankfully in our field, and I got to say that with an open heart that they could be doing something else, but they're choosing to put their talents towards this.
Yep.
And the stuff that they do is amazing.
It's a great visual representation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Of the work we do. And I don't want to include our artist friends in that. I really don't. I want to talk about people that are using this field as a way to milk people.
Oh, sure.
And I'll tell you, it gets so old. And there's conferences everywhere. There's one running opposite of OBC this weekend that I think people are half stupid for even attempting to do. And it's getting to the point where you really got to choose. And the names I'm seeing put up on some of these marquee, your big claim to fame is you run a Bigfoot Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And you've had some sketchy sightings yet to boot.
Yeah, right.
And then every 5 minutes, your plight is everybody else's problem. I don't want to hear about your personal problems in my Bigfoot group. I really don't. You can't pay your bills. That's on you. You shouldn't be out there panhandling to your followers trying to take money. Maybe spend more time getting a job than you do out there panhandling your people. Because I'll tell you what, those motherfuckers won't be in our groups very long. I'll boot them faster than they standing out for a free check.
Wow. Right.
No, it's annoying to me. It really is. We got GoFundMe's throwing up for every doodad and another, and they have a purpose for people that are really affected by things, not by people who are just lazy and stupid. And I'm so tired of people milking this field for, how many times I've just considered giving up on taking any kind of fan support or listener support just because it's a lot of pressure to try to give people stuff.
Right.
It is. And I like our supporters, every single one of them. In fact, I love them.
Yep.
And I feel bad when we can't always meet our commitments. And I'll tell you, some of these people have no shame taking your money, folks. And that's a gut check. And those people, they ought to be a damn shame of themselves. And I've had my fill, and I feel like I'm going to start going on a warpath on social media.
Uh-oh.
Starting to start attacking these groups. If you got a red circle, your days are numbered. If you can't count, your days are numbered. If you got no common sense, your days are numbered. If your sister's your wife, your days are numbered. We're coming for you. And there's no stopping us. It's time to take our field back from the idiots that have overshadowed the decent people here. They really have. I'm just so over it. It makes people that have been here a long time just want to leave and wipe their hands of it. It really does. It's disgusting. And honestly, shame on those people. And I say that like an old man waving my cane. Shame on you. You ruined this. You're starting to ruin it for me, and you're not going to ruin it for people that really care. But
you know what? Before you go to anything else, I have to agree with Scott. Oh, that cracks me up. Fun with the red circles. Yeah, I agree, Scott.
Stand them. If you need a red circle, see an optometrist.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Before I break
Way to go, Scott.
We'll be right back. We love you.
News team, assemble!
My buddy's a Bigfoot enthusiast. He called me. He goes, big news in the Bigfoot community. I'm like, go on. Because I'm a Bigfoot enthusiast. He goes, we found adolescent Bigfoot tracks. They're breeding. Okay, so let me get this straight. Did you find little big feet? You found regular footprints, didn't you, Dave?
Ah, yes, Little Feat. That's a band from the 1970s, known for their genre and music of Southern swamp rock. Well, happy Monday night to you all. It is the 118th day of 2025. Not that I'm keeping count, I just have to trust the authors of the calendar I look at. Speaking of swamp, a Colorado woman believes she recently spotted a Sasquatch lumbering down a desolate road in front of her home. The sighting occurred in the middle of last month, which would be March, near the town of Hygiene. I wonder if they have a Bath and Body Works there. I just made that up. Approximately 11 miles from Boulder. The witness, identified as J.H. in her report to the BFRO, indicated that she looked out her front window at around 10 p.m. in the evening, which would be at night, and noticed an ape-like creature walking very briskly in the middle of a gravel road. Beyond the simian nature of the stranger, what made the woman do a double take was the sheer size of the figure. She estimated it to be around 8 feet tall. To that end, having spoken to the witness after receiving her report, Matt Moneymaker of the BFRO took a tree knocker bat and bludgeoned the woman to death. Nah, I just made that part up. She was adamant that it had to be a Bigfoot due to the creature's monstrous proportions. Unfortunately, the sighting was rather fleeting, and the remote road had no street lights. So the woman did not get a better glimpse of the figure beyond its unusual size and shape. Be that as it may, she mused that it was unlike anything she had ever seen in her over 50 years of living on that property. Whether the incident was an actual Bigfoot sighting or simply a misidentification, the witness would appear to be genuine in her accounting of the event, since she specifically chose to remain anonymous and told Moneymaker that she only relayed the incident to the BFRO because she felt compelled to report what she saw. When we come back, I'm going to talk about something I've talked about quite a bit.
You're listening to the Bigfoot Bullhorn right here on the Sasquatch Experience.
It's not gawkers, it's got knockers. Hey, have you been to the Squatchfield site on the interweb that has it all? Introducing gotknockers.org. Stop on by for an intriguing story of the encounter that started it all. But wait, there's more. Got Knockers offers some fabulous merchandise like t-shirts, hoodies, onesies for the baby, plus a stunning array of jewelry and some fantastic sauces that will make your taste buds dance. But the coolest of all is a genuine Got Knockers tree knocker. Stop on by and say hi to the folks of Got Knockers, Gwendolyn and Michael Purcell. Get in on the action and just visit gotknockers.org. Again, gotknockers.org. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Things your mother used to say. And now I'm going to do it. The Ohio Bigfoot Conference begins Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. or as others know it as OBC, because we have to abbreviate everything these days. But this year's speakers are going to be Finding Bigfoot star Renee Holland and Cliff Barrickman, along with Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Shelley Covington Montana, and of course Small Town Monsters filmmaker himself, Seth Breedlove. Master of ceremony is Esteban Sarmiento, and you need to pronounce his name that way when you see him. Sarmiento. Anyway, this is held at the Salt Fork State Park Lodge in Cambridge, Ohio. And it's easy to find. You just do a Google search GPS to Salt Fork State Park, and the signs will take you down the beautiful windy roads through Salt Fork right to the lodge, where you will see thousands and thousands of people. But best part of all, you get to meet the entire crew of the Sasquatch Experience, because Sean makes it all about himself. Just kidding. We hope to see you there. Thanks again for listening to this edition of the Bigfoot Bullhorn right here on the Sasquatch Experience. And as always,
until we meet again,
keep your toes in the mud.
I think I'm going to give the bullhorn space back to the advertisers. You know, we could always promote a good boner pill as a
Brought to you by Pornhub.
No.
Oh, wow.
When you're
What is that?
Homo erectus.
Oh, stop.
Wow.
Stop it. 5 minutes. We go off there for 5 minutes, and you just can't control yourself.
No.
It only takes about.
And there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
And yes, I do make it about me. It is about me. It's my show, damn it. Mine.
Quiet, Vince McMahon.
And I'm going to do a full-blown heel turn tonight. That's what I'm going to do. Anyhow, we are excited about going to OBC this weekend. But, guys, we got about 20 minutes left of the show tonight. What's new out there? Matt, I know you've been dealing with forest fires. And honest to God, you and I have talked on many road trips. An issue that I'm surprised has not impacted and brought out more reports of Bigfoot sightings in some of these areas. And I think maybe a lot of it is to do with folks maybe embarrassed to report something they seen because of the sense of, you know, sadness and danger around these wildfires. But also, you know, when everything's burning around you, are you really, really paying attention to that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, especially the firefighters themselves, so they'll get, you know, basically like hyper focused into their task, and everyone's doing the Cena. So, anyways, everyone's going to get hyper focused, and they're, you know, you basically get that tunnel vision. So there could be something that's walking, you know, 30 yards, you know, to the west of you. You're not going to see that, you know, because you're concentrating on that one job, because especially when it involves is something as dangerous as fighting a fire, you know, plus you're listening to your radio, you're making sure that the wind, you know, is in the right direction. So you got so many things going on. But the one thing with the forest fires is, and especially whether it's out west or here in the Appalachians, is you know, you don't find that many charred remains out there. I've been through you know, some forest you know, burn areas up in Elk County. There was not one skeleton. Usually if you're looking at mice, any small rodents, they're going to dig into that ground. If you're looking at, I don't know what that noise is, but if you're looking at, you know, a deer, elk, they're going to move out of that area. And it's very uncommon to find, you know, like a litter of corpses out there.
I go back to that story from Battle Mountain, Nevada. Henry, you know which one I'm talking about, where they had the Bigfoot walk out from the forest fire. And we've talked about this on Rob McConnell. Tom Powell talks about it in his book, The Locals. And they didn't know what to do with this creature. They get a vet, they get a doctor, they shave it down, put in a pick line, do what they need to do to get it to safety. And then I think, Henry, if I'm correct, the government takes it and disappears.
I believe that's right. I think they treated it at the hospital, and then the government came in and swooped in and took it.
Right. And the story's always been interesting to me because, though as ridiculous as it may sound, there seems a little bit of truth in that. Just a smidge about it. And the fact that it didn't make major story. I mean, it's still not even that well known, I think, within the community. I don't see it featured a lot in stories. It's a very compelling story. And, that's the thing about Tom Powell's book. And we need to get Tom on the show because The Locals is in my top 5 Bigfoot books. Because he looks at things in a very witness-based, he takes the witnesses credibly. And these witnesses on face value, some of their stories are incredible. And I think that's what makes them true. The fact that you couldn't make some of this shit up at that time because we didn't put those details out there to do it. I always go back to that historical piece. We create the best hoaxes because we keep putting the information out there. But some of this stuff came before there was a lot of heavy internet traffic and we were putting stuff up there. And honest to God, how many people are out there reading Bigfoot books before finding Bigfoot? Not a lot.
Right.
So these stories to me, there's always a little bit of truth to them. For what other reason would they have to make something up like that? And I mean, it's a great story. I can see the fictional element of it. I don't want to say it's beyond that, but it's always been fascinating to me that stories. So to me, it's just the real deal. I don't think it's ever been disproven or ever been had its credibility to it, Henry.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, and I haven't heard any other forest fire sightings that you've heard of, Henry, that you could.
I haven't heard of any. It's interesting. Although there was a tabloid report several years ago, supposedly a Sasquatch being spotted after a forest fire. So,
okay,
but that was a tabloid.
So, oh my God. I don't know what's with the motorcycle gang outside of my road, outside of my street, but as long as they don't start coming at me with a crowbar or a pussy willow, we should be fine. So let's route this a different way. Matt, I mean, have you guys seen more birds and animals that you don't usually see crouching into places that aren't on fire? And that's where I would say is where I would say is a lot of the research would be on what isn't a Bigfoot. Hey, I've seen more, blah 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 in my yard because that are usually in the woods. The possums are 5 times as many as I've ever seen because the woods surrounding woods have been on fire. I mean, I would look at populaces that you could actually quantify per se, and then. I think it was either OBC or one of the other ones where they were explaining that they if you go by animals and the scarcity of what you see, like say you see for every so many bear you see, there could be up to 1 or 2 Sasquatch because of a ratio. And I wonder
about 300. I think it was 300 to 1.
So if you saw more bear, then the question of whether you would see more of another animal, it's kind of like. That's where I would start with is, hey, I noticed that there's more of these cranes in downtown, or there's more bears and deer downtown since this fire. So, use that as your base.
Well, I think maybe not so much sightings, but you start looking at some of those ancillary behaviors, strange calls, things missing around your farmstead or your homestead. What are your chicken supply looking like? Are your chickens starting to disappear? Natural food sources, are you really paying that attention? I mean, right now is not really a growing season here yet per se, but it'll be starting soon. What are your harvests starting to look like? And Matt, up there in Jim Thorpe, that area is just, it kind of relies on that fall foliage tourist, and summertime activities out there for its livelihood. So the fact that we have a forest fire causing some damage out that way is really bad economically for that area. Completely went off on a sidetrack. It's just the economics. Baker started throwing out numbers there and starts getting me into numbers, and my mind.
I'm sorry, I used some maths.
You use some maths, but no, I mean the ratio number. It was a really good call out and something really good to think about. But I think that if there's folks out there and there are some stories, we would like to hear them, and not in an exploitive way. I think the data needs to be garnered. I mean, we do need some speaking points to that. Are these forest fires? Because I think there's a sad reality is if we keep getting some of these fires and we're not noticing any inclination, either they're super smart and they know this is coming ahead of time like other animals do with disasters, or the bloody thing doesn't exist, which is going to be even more sad.
Right.
Or they've been wiped out. So I guess there's three possibilities, none of which would be good.
No, this is true. And, with the wildfires that have happened through the Pine Barrens, I know there's a lot of talk about the Jersey Devil in the Pine Barrens, but wow, what a huge fire that happened through there. I had a thought, though, a couple of nights ago, and I'd be willing to spend, $1,000 on this project to create let's say a dummy of a Bigfoot and put some rotten meat in it, and so that it would stink really bad, and stick it by a tree as if it were a dead Sasquatch, and then put a cheap doorbell type of camera 1,000 yards away and see what would happen with a decoy, because decoys work really well with ducks. You can put a duck decoy in a pond and bring in other ducks, and you can go and hunt them.
Well, they have tried this. Jody Cook tried this. Jody Cook tried this in Ohio. In fact, it was documented on Monster Quest. Now, I don't know if he used the innards or anything else like that.
Right.
But the problem becomes from Vance that we start going into is there something from the camera that's emitting frequency or light
right
from the decoy? We don't know.
Well, that's why I kind of said 1,000 yards. Put it 1,000 yards away. Maybe it won't pick up on it that quick. I don't know. I don't know.
The range is out of out of the range for one of those. But I mean, with the advent of the I Gotcha cam and so much work being done on new types of camera systems that are coming out that are kind of frequency deprived. Who knows what we may see coming from that in the future? We just don't.
Right.
And you know what? We really don't know. Legend Meets Science 2 has been very tight-lipped, and I'm a backer of that project.
Right.
And we get the updates every so often as a backer, and it's been very tight-lipped. So I'm interested to see what we may get from the Legend Meets Science production. What are we going to see? And I think there were so many people in the Bigfoot field that contributed to that. I think we're all kind of waited on bated breath. Those of us who aren't on the inside looking to see what's going to come from that. Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you. Allergies.
It's that time of year, my friend.
Yeah,
you know that.
Well, you know what? You're talking about the Legend Meets Science, and Darby Orcutt just had an update. Very kind of cryptic update that he had, but reading into it, it does look like there may be some findings coming out. Probably within a year or so.
Go ahead, Henry.
I was going to say, I do know that Abe Del Rio was involved with some filming for that in Minnesota. So,
yeah, and we should get Abe on the program because we haven't talked to Abe in a long time. It'd be good to reconnect with Abe and get him on the program too. So,
it would
get caught up, and we may see him this weekend. I don't know. I didn't see a confirmation or not, but Abe, he likes to surprise, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Any final
Right.
thoughts for tonight? We had a couple interesting Bigfoot moments, a Forker meltdown, and some OBC promotion.
I'm looking forward to it, boy. I can't wait.
I can't wait to get you at the airport at 2:50 on Thursday, folks. If you want to stand
That's
there
right.
with your Lays or whatever else, and I'm talking about the flowers, not the bag of potato chips.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to
Well, I
stand there?
mean, you would go with what works. I mean,
Yeah. We'll be there.
One point I would like to make though is when James brought up about what's the ratio of black bears to a possible Bigfoot. The reason I
they
know
gotta be
that
black.
is that was from the OBC back in like 2018 with Dr. Meldrum, and he brought that up. And because we live in such a heavily populated black bear area, I said, oh, this is perfect. So you learn a lot
Right.
from these seminars going
a lot of
on,
random
and
stuff
even
up.
going table to table.
Yep.
You're right. There's a lot to be learned. And as much of these are an entertainment venue for a lot, I consider them the old kind of sales conferences where we all go meet together, rub elbows, and share techniques and tips. We always learn more from one another than we do not. And I'm excited to see our friends, excited to get Henry. And guys, I tell you what, it's time. It's time for OBC. Henry, take us out with those dulcet tones.
Y'all be good or be good at it, and see y'all this weekend.
See you this weekend. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Sasquatch Experience. Please rate and review where this podcast has been consumed. To share your experience, visit us on Facebook, our website, or email us info@sasquatchexperience.com. Keep on squatching.
And Bake is out.
I think we're off air. I don't know.
I believe we are.
It's still showing us live.
Well, hold on. I already played the